My name is Chief Nadis Carlisle. I am the police chief in Decatur, Alabama. I want to make this statement. I respect the right of every citizen to express their opinions and peacefully protest. That is a fundamental part of our democracy. However, I must address the misinformation being spread regarding my appointment and my record as a law enforcement officer. The claims of misconduct against me are entirely false and without merit. My career has been dedicated to upholding the highest standards of integrity, accountability, and service to the community. I have consistently worked to build trust, improve public safety, and implement fair, transparent policing policies and practices. It is important that decisions about leadership in law enforcement be based on facts, experience, and demonstrated commitment to public service, not on baseless accusations meant to discredit progress. I welcome constructive dialogue, and I am committed to working with all members of the community, including those that may have concerns, to ensure we move forward together toward a safer, more unified city. Thank you.
Chief, what prompted that statement?
What prompted this statement is the city council meeting here Monday evening when the protesters got up and just tried to destroy my character. It was character assassination. And I've been around here a long time, and I've got hundreds, maybe even thousands of people who know me and support me and think I'm the greatest person for this position. But I'm not here trying to fight for this position. All I wanted to do was help us get through tough times. And I can go back to being retired. That's the only reason I'm up here.
When you first got the appointment of this position, how did that come about?
How did it come about? I don't remember if I reached out to the mayor or he reached out to me, but we talked, and we decided to, well, we talked about it. I'm not really sure what you're looking for, but we talked about it, and he took some time to think about it, and he told me that he was going to select me.
You said you spent time away from DPD. What prompted the want to come back?
To help this city. That's it. Our police department, I love. I know still most of the people, all the leaders I know. And when I say that, I mean senior leaders. And the city, that's the most important thing. The city, the community here, they're reeling. We've had a lot going on with the Steve Perkins death. We've become very divided, and I hadn't seen this sort of division since the mid-70s, when a young man was probably falsely accused of raping 3 white women. And up until then, I never experienced racism as a child. I didn't see it. All our friends, black, white, Hispanic, whatever it was, we were friends. And when that happened, it just drew a line in the sand. And I want to try to prevent all that. I want to get us talking.
Speaking of Perkins, Steve Perkins, what is your relationship like with the Perkins family? Have you
Mine?
been talking to him yet?
Well, most of the family, they know me, and I think, well, let me put it this way. I thought I had a great relationship with them up until Monday. I still have a great relationship with members who aren't involved with the present protesters.
When it comes to the police morale, I know that you've only been here a short couple of weeks. What is the morale like among the officers right now?
The morale in our officers, it's not the greatest. They're trying to get better. It's very difficult to be hollered at and screamed at and yelled at and threatened. by people that you're sworn to protect, and that's what they've been doing. And it's been a while. It's been 17 months, and so they're not in the best shape as far as just being happy. I can't tell you they're joyful people, and none of them, none of us, wanted that, and we were not a part of the death. And you know, to be blamed for something that you were not there on, and you take your anger and you turn it around on the people who are here trying to help you, who feel the same way you do in many instances. I know I do. It's difficult.
I know we speak of the anger being, turned against you guys. Do you understand why the community is so angry?
Yes, yes. They lost a loved one. I cried with them. I cried for them. I've prayed. I've done all that. So I totally understand it, because Steve is not going to be here. He's not. He's going to. His family misses him, and when there are moments and different things in their lives as his people grow up, he's not going to be here for that. So I totally understand it.
How do you how do you start trying to rebuild that trust within the community?
To rebuild the trust, the first thing I think that I have to do is discredit what was told about me. Nothing they said at that council meeting was true. I have never in my life, for one, they talked about me being one of the, being a street hawk. I've never been a street hawk. The unit was started less than a year after I started, and I was asked over time to, hey, you want to do this, and I didn't. I didn't do it. So don't put that on me. Young man talked about, basically I trumped up charges, I guess, on him on a murder case, and I did recognize his face, and I went back and looked at our records, and I don't want to put him out there. I don't want to do what he was glad to do to me, but he didn't tell the truth at all about nothing, and I've got proof of that, and he has no proof of anything that he said. And if he does, I suggest he bring it up, bring it out. And one of the things he said was, I participated in beating him up for what? And what I mean by that is, he was developed as a suspect. I did what all investigators are supposed to do. Don't allow my personal narrative or opinion to get in place or in the way of evidence. The evidence led me to him and his two co-defendants. And people talked, gave statements, we got witnesses to different things, and he was arrested. It was that simple. And nothing happened to him. As a matter of fact, he turned himself in. So, you know, you turn yourself in, we take you to the interview room where we have cameras, and I'd like to know, when exactly did I have a chance to beat him, especially with a bunch of other people. So none of that stuff was true.
I want to kind of go back to the trust aspect. I know that lacking communication between the department and the public, within the department, was an issue. Is there any plans to address that?
Did you say within the department? Okay, we're doing that. We're doing that. I'm having, I can say, daily meetings. Definitely daily meetings, and I'm trying to get around the entire department. I'm trying to meet all the guys, all the different units that we have. I'm asking them, what is it that you need from me? Are there problems, issues? Do we need certain type of equipment, more of that equipment? And letting them know that I have an open door policy. I want to hear what they got to say, because most of the time, the people actually doing the work are the ones who are the expert or the material experts. They're the ones who can tell you what we need.
Got you. Do you plan on getting sit-downs with the community, kind of getting feedback from them?
Yes, with the community I am. I'd be glad to talk to the protesters if they can have a civil conversation. I'd be glad to talk to them. I want to talk to them. I've actually reached out to them before this stuff happened, before Monday happened, and they just have no interest in and hearing the truth, apparently.
I want to talk about Chief Pena's executive plan. Have you made any? Are you going to plan to make any adjustments to it, or do you like it the way it is?
His plan was fine. I have my own plan that I'm working on, and I actually have a copy of it. If you guys wanted to take it with you, you'll be able to do so. I've not published it. It's still, it's in a finished product, but it's not in the nice glossy pages and all that.
Is there any key points in that plan that you can kind of discuss now?
Well, everything that we've talked about, I got to reach out to the community, and I've been doing that. So far, it's mainly been on an individual basis, but I'm asking these people that I'm talking to who represent different groups and organizations throughout the city to set up meetings for me. I want to come and I want to talk to people, and I want them to ask me questions.
My first question is, as it pertains to the third-party review, the release of the third-party review, a lot of what has been noted in there was community policing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you had a chance to look at it yourself. Did you have a chance to look at the third-party review?
I have not looked at it yet. I'm hoping that I'll be able to look at the unredacted, if that's a word, version of it. That's what I want to see. I've not looked at it yet because I want to have the unredacted version in front of me. I want all the dirt. I want all the good stuff. I want all the details, all what they consider facts. I want that, and that's what I want to look at. There was something that you said, and I'll look back at him, that I left out. Do you remember what it was in your question?
That I asked you?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, it's about the third-party review, community policing.
Mm-hmm.
That was heavily noted in that third-party review. You know, when you get a chance to look at it, they pointed to former Chief Nate Allen and how he was really, really big on that. And in fact, internally within the department, they felt more disciplined than the folks outside of the department. They felt like he ran a tight ship within the police department versus on the outside, where the outside was more of a focus on community policing and building relationships with the community. Do you see yourself implementing that as interim chief?
Mm-hmm. We, our department some years ago, we ran different sports leagues for the kids. We had what we call PALS, Police Athletic League, and I and many other officers were coaches. Sometimes we had to go pick our kids up and take them home for games and practices, and that was okay. And that's how we build trust. You know, I want the little ones, we got to start with them to trust kids. If something happens to them, if a bad guy grabs them trying to take them out the park or out of Walmart or something, they need to know what to do. And they need to know if they see an officer that we're good people. We are good people. Some people don't want to believe that, but we are good people. There's a small percentage of people in every job or every employment status that may not be up to where we'd like them to be, but police officers want to do good work. We're here to serve people and to protect people, and we have to have ourselves in the mindset of being guardians. That's what we are. And we don't have to go out here and push people around and stick our chests out and say, I'm the police. We don't have to do that around this country. And I know we need to get out there and do a little more police reform around the country. It's amazed me as well that people, that officers have shot and killed so many people around the country. Unarmed black folks most of the time. That bothers me. That really bothers me. That was probably the main reason in 16 that I retired, because I couldn't take it anymore. But then over time, I came back around and I realized that 99 point whatever % of the officers that we do have, they're great. They're good people. They're people loving people, and I need to be there for them. And so that's where I'm back. But yeah, I want to institute some things so we can get out with the community. You're riding around in your police car, you see a basketball game going on. What's wrong with getting out your car and going to hoop with them? And that's not a new idea. That's not me saying it. That's been around a long time. Get out and engage with these young folks, with the kids. I pass people and I wave, blow my horn, stop and see them and talk to them on the street. That's what I want our officers doing. Anytime there's a group event of any kind, if you're riding by, stop and go see people. Talk to them, ask them, is there anything that you need from us, and just be friendly. That's how you reach out to people.
Yeah, I actually had a couple more questions. You mentioned a street hawk. Is that what you said?
Street hawks.
Hawks. What's a street hawk?
It was a street crime fighting unit that was started in 1989. And their job was to find those dealing drugs out on the streets, locate them, arrest them, and sometimes they went too far. And that's what the people are talking about when they tried to associate me to that, because they had a bad reputation. But again, I was never on that unit, not one time.
Another question I have for you. So this more pertains to the city council and the mayor. So there seems to be some contention between the mayor and the city council because one, Chief Pinion, former Chief Pinion, I should say, that recommended you, correct?
Yes.
Yes. And how did you feel knowing that he did recommend you?
It was an honor. It was an honor. Truth be known, Chief Pinion and everyone on, I need to look at you. Truth be known that Chief Pinion and all the people, all the captains, and most, if not all, the lieutenants worked for me during my career in one form or fashion or another. I ran the Criminal Investigations Division, and all the captains in particular, they were detectives. And either with me as a sergeant, lieutenant, or captain, we all worked together. So I wasn't surprised that he recommended me, but I was appreciative. I was.
I know the council felt left out with the appointment. Have you had conversations with the council?
Some, but not much. I felt that way in the meeting as well Monday, that maybe they felt left out in what I've read in the paper and different things. And, you know, that's political stuff, and I'm trying to stay away from that.
Do you see yourself trying to build a relationship with the council?
Oh, yes, I am doing that. I plan to do that. I did explain to a couple of the councilmen Tuesday that in detail about the young man who claimed that I beat him and arrested him for nothing. And I've got evidence to prove otherwise. And so I did have that conversation, but that was the length of it.
Which council members?
I'd rather not say. Okay.
Would you want to take on this role permanently?
Do I want to take this role on permanently? I really don't know. I do want to help the city, the department get through hard times if they really come to getting worse here in the next couple of months. I want us to get through that. I want to try to build these relationships, get the police and the community talking again. Most of the communities do still love their police, and they make they leave no doubts to that, because people call and they tell you, hey, we support you, and we love that. And we love that we still have people that love us.
My last question.
I don't believe that, but go ahead.
Hey, unless you say something otherwise, to make me ask more. But my last question, I know you have a long history in law enforcement, including obviously DPD. Actually, are you from Decatur? Where are you from originally?
I am from Decatur. Mm-hmm.
So Decatur is home for you?
Yes. That's where my motivation is. This is my home. I'm born and raised here. My parents, all sets of my grandparents were from Decatur. So we have roots here.
Does it feel like a full circle moment for you?
Tell me what you mean when you say that, when you ask me if it's a full circle moment.
Born and raised here, then coming back to serve in a role where clearly there is some contention within the community. This is the community that raised and reared you. So would you say?
Throughout the last 17 months or so, I've had lots of people ask me, beg me to be the police chief or run for the police chief position should it become open. So I know I've got a lot of support, and they're scared to say much on social media because they feel like they're being, when they have said something, they get bullied, or they'll read someone else getting bullied, and they kind of keep their mouth closed. People tell me you can't even say, well, give them a chance, without one of the protesters on social media beating them up about even saying it. So they want to control the narrative. They want everyone to do what they want done, and it's just not going to work out that way, you know. But I would be glad to talk to them, but all the hollering and fussing and that's just too much. That's not how you get things done.
Which begs me to ask,
Ma'am?
Which begs me to ask, I asked about you taking on this role permanently.
I still didn't answer it, did I?
No, you're fine. It's just, this is something that you're faced with. Should you take on this role permanently?
If I should consider taking it on permanently, Councilor Ladner said that we're going to post the vacancy and accept applications. I've not decided if I'm going to do that or not. I don't know. Even if I do, there are no assurances that I'll get the position. And so I just hadn't made up my mind yet. And so we'll just have to see. Now, when I did take this interim position, the thought was I'd be here until the new council and mayor comes aboard. And apparently that's not going to work. So, I stepped into something to help the people, to help my people, my police department. And now I may not be here but just a few weeks or a month. And if that happens, it's okay, because I know I tried.
And I wanted to go back to my original question. You were right, it wasn't my last one. So you do have a long history of being in law enforcement, including at Alabama A&M University. Why did you leave? I know why you left Decatur. You explained why, and now you're back. But why did you leave Alabama A&M?
I went to Alabama A&M 2 months after retiring from here. So February 2017, I started as the police chief and executive director of public safety. We had a lot of work to do. We turned that department around. We changed the culture of that department in very many positive ways. The officers looked like the officers, they acted like officers, and they understood after a while of what we expected from police officers. And so we turned it around. We made that university better. The president, Andrew Hugini, he was very proud of us. And it wasn't me taking all the credit. it was a team effort. It was getting in people who understood how a police department should be ran. And so we had to change the culture. Guys, we don't do this, and here's how we do it, and here's how you do it properly, and getting people to training. So the reason that I left there is I was fired, and that's not been I've kept that no secret. I was fired because I reported on a brand new person who had no experience whatsoever to be a vice president on that campus. And that was not me talking, that was her colleagues. And she was prohibiting me from doing things on campus that needed to be done to keep the safety and security of our university high. And I reported that to the president, and she didn't like it, and I got fired. It's that simple.
When did you leave? When were you fired?
21, October 21. And I've heard the rumors too. And social media, they brought stuff up saying that I was sleeping with the female students. Number one of my daughters was up there the entire time. Employees got 50% off tuition, so it just happened that one of mine graduated at the right time, and she came up there to A&M, where she was going anyway, and we were able to take advantage of that 50% discount, and she went to school there the whole time. So how could one even imagine getting away with something like that? The police chief sleeping with a female student and having a daughter up there at the same time. People talk. If you are having relationships with a female up there and you're in a position of authority, you now belong to that female student. So anything that she wants you to do, you're bound to do it. Otherwise, she's going to spill the beans. I'm too smart for that. I'm too savvy. I've been around too long for that. Would never do it anyway, but it's just ridiculous. And then the other thing I heard was I was stealing money. Okay, I gave money, I spent my own money on students. I brought students things. They're running short on toiletries, luggage, whatever, food. My staff and I, we would get together if it was going to be a vast amount and give them money and buy them things and all that. So it's a slap in the face to hear otherwise. And so you talk about stuff you know nothing about. And I encourage you guys, go up there to A&M, talk to the police, talk to whomever you want to, find some people that knew me when I was up there and see what they say. The only thing I would add is know my heart. These people have known me a very long time. I've got lots of support. People do know my heart. And to the protesters, I would say to them, give me a chance. You might be amazed.